Welcome, welcome. The fifth match of the ESEA Advanced Season.
If you can even call it international, really, that Cerus is going to go into. Grizzlys, apparently from Canada. I'm sure we could assume that even if the flag wasn't there. But so far, with 9 players in the server, we're almost ready to get started. Looks like there's actually 6 on the part of Grizzlys. I believe that's a 10-yard penalty. But for now, Cerus is just waiting for their last man to load in, or last 2 men to load in. In the past few weeks, we've seen some pretty dominating performances out of Cerus players. Drake himself has had a fantastic series of clutch plays in a previous match against CLG Red. I believe that one was on Inferno, and we saw some incredible rifling out of him, as well as some performances coming out of Lennon. We saw him on the same map, also going really big. He might have been the top fragger in the server, but either way, 2 fantastic riflers. Drake also a little bit more potent with scoped rifles. Known for some double op setups. We might see that come into play here on Overpass. But I think Cerus eSports' really momentum-based style is really going to come into effect here. In the past few matches we've seen, especially against that match versus CLG Red, we've seen them come back from some really big deficits in the first half to some absolutely dominating second half. So maybe they are a little bit of a momentum-based team. Maybe they forget to warm up a little bit before matches. But either way, hopefully if they can get everything down in terms of their aim and team coordination, I really think they're a force to be reckoned with. I mean, Grizzlies is definitely going to have their work cut out for them today. Again, both of these teams, 2-2 records so far in this ESEA Advanced League, proving that they both can deal with opponents at a similar skill level. But this match is going to be the decider to see who finally goes positive. So, again, 2-2. Winner goes 3-2 and will advance on. I believe the losing team, however, will have a chance to claw their way back to a positive record. But a positive record going 3-2 is just one less game to worry about. So both of these guys know there's a little bit on the line. And now most players are in the server. We see CJB, who is also a real clutch player. We've seen a lot of great rifling out from him on maps like Overpass on Inferno and I believe Dust 2 earlier in the season. So we've seen some fantastic stuff from him. Hopefully he's able to bring his A game here today against his Canadian counterparts. So, just waiting for the knife round here. On a map like Overpass, generally it's up to the team whether or not they want to go T or CT first. Some recent changes to the map include some of the removal of the skyboxes, as well as the fact that the train no longer can interfere with grenades. So CT sides are going to be a little bit more consistent, but I still think this really comes down to whichever team feels most comfortable on whichever side. So not a clear answer on the results of what that knife round will be, regardless of the winner. In terms of Grizzlies, I know can't say I'm too familiar with many of these players. Cerus, though, we've been watching pretty much all season long. All of their ESEA Advanced games are going to be streamed. So if you guys want to check in on their progress throughout the series, be sure to check in here on Cerus ATX. They've got multiple matches running per week, sometimes against bigger names. So hopefully we can see some victories from them in this series. Going on, warming up on his teammates a little bit. I think he mostly played the scoped rifle role. We saw a little bit of scout play from him on Inferno on some of the eco rounds to pretty decent effect. We know that a lot of these riflers, though, are a lot more comfortable with those close quarters battles from what I've seen. A lot of them don't do too well when it comes to the long-range game, so don't expect too much action towards A-long, but I imagine B-side is really going to make or break these teams, especially in this first half. So, knife round is underway.
Stabby, stabby.
Cerus eSports paying that good money. A lot of M9s. Grizzlies, ooh, vanilla on Kizzy. That does not bode well for this upcoming round. So they are going to meet. Again, it really doesn't matter who wins this knife round. It's possible that both teams wind up with their preferred configuration, just due to the kind of the configuration of this map. And it looks like there's a little bit of hesitation going into it. Cerus is going to run in. JMZ and Lennon team up for the first kill, but Grizzly busts back with 3 of their own. A lot of low players, though, so now we're in the 2v1. JMZ has the health advantage. Kizzy, I don't believe, is going to die from a single right-click, though, and that puts him in a little bit of a disadvantage. The tankier player goes in first, and they clean up. So Grizzlies is going to pick the team that they start on. Looking to see if it's confirmed. And it looks like that is the case. So Grizzlies will be going CT. Expect a lot of CT setups leaning towards the B site for these first few rounds. I mean, the T pistols are really suited to just kind of shoving through monster as well as barrels and just taking the site by storm. So if Grizzlies can withhold the aggression, probably within the first 30 to 45 seconds of the match, they should have this pistol round unlock, but it's all just a matter of what it comes down to. I mean, we've seen so many players on Cerus eSports do fantastic during pistol rounds. They've lost very few so far, so hopefully they can keep it going. Instead, they head towards A with the bomb as well. Thurnis, the lone man, towards B, trying to stop any kind of quick rotates. Mikhail's looking towards bathrooms. He doesn't realize that pretty much the entire team is A long. He's going to get a nasty surprise if he peeks around that corner. But instead, it looks like some more tricky movement coming out from Cerus. So far, no one has seen each other. No one's fired a bullet so far in this round. Just now, with some of the utility coming out, lots of nades being thrown towards B site. Might be able to bait some rotations from A. And it looks like they went bathrooms to B, but there's a little bit of a CT stack on here. Kizzy picks up the first, and Incredible follows through with one of his own. Melio with a 2-piece, basically securing the round. Drake is the last man standing, and if anyone can do it, it's him. Long-range taps, but they know where he is. That smoke coming in handy. So now Mikhail moving towards Sniper's Nest. Kizzy setting up a little bit of a crossfire for him, staring at that simple graffiti. Yeah, Drake's in such a rough spot. He knows where the bomb is, but the CTs have equal amounts of knowledge. 94% on him, but most of the CT side is unscathed. Let's see what he goes for here. Yeah, really conservative play from the CTs. Flash does come out. I guess someone saved a grenade for it. Yeah, Drake is not even positioning himself super conservatively. Might have been able to spot the CT player there, just the side of him. Catches the bullet tracer. Takes down Kizzy, but the crossfire from Nano is going to find its way into Drake's dome. So, 1-0 for Grizzly. Again, we saw that kind of deterrence of the aggression. We're used to seeing a lot of rushes from the T side early in the half. But in this case, it looked like Grizzlies was prepared for a little bit of the tricky movement that Cerus eSports brought to the table. So, pretty much a full lineup of CZs, a little bit of utility, Drake and JMZ, and nade apiece, but these MP9s are going to shred through Thurnis, who is actually the only player on the T side to not go for both body and head armor. Those MP9s might not be as useful as Grizzlies interpreted. So now again, we see a little bit of tricky movement. We see Drake kind of falling behind his team, trying to watch for any kind of rotates as they head towards underground towards A. And they might be able to spot them coming bathrooms. Right now, the T side, again, being a little bit apprehensive. We see very little information being got early in the rounds by both of these teams. Again, I don't think a single player has spotted one of the other team. So both of these guys are a little bit hesitant to push forward onto the A site. CJB is watching their backs, and it looks like there might be a rotate from Nano, but he backs off. Just trying to maintain solid control of the site. Might be seeing a little bit of a stack here, but JMZ just checking his shoelaces, making sure they're not untied. Thurnis retreating in, trying to see if he can spot any rotates out, maybe take the aggression to them a little bit. He is the only man without a CC-75, so he's not afraid to rush in first, not allowed a utility loss, but now they push onto the site. Kizzy holds towards A long, and now the rotate comes quick through bank. Wow, Kizzy tearing through the T-side aggression. Cerus, Drake, and CJB picking up a frag each. Will even out the numbers, but only MP9s in the hand of Grizzlies players, and both of the remaining Cerus eSports players do have full armor. Those MP9s are just going to be like hornet stings, but not if they hit the head, and like in that case. So Nana will pick down one, but he falls low. CJB might be able to spot them coming out from dumpster. Yeah, he saw the grenade come out, single headshot, but the nade, he looked away. Unfortunately, he looked right into it, so it will flash him fully. And that's going to be the round. But that was way closer than I think Grizzlies was comfortable with. That was 4 kills. A couple of rifles found their way into Cerus eSports' hands, and it really looked like a possible hold. But just that unfortunate circumstance with the grenade there. The flash being thrown, he instinctively looked away. That's some next level strats, actually. That's some level 2, level 3 level grenades. Because you throw it, and they're forced to kind of look away, but then they look right into it. Either way, rough situation, but Grizzlies is going to take that second round in the bag. So again, we see a pretty CC-75 heavy lineup, and this time, we're seeing the more traditional B rush. The molly is going to come out. Oh, a little bit of a messed up flash there from Nano. And they push out onto the site, but separated by the smoke, it's hard to get back up. Nanio and Melio both pick up 1 each. Lennon, however, goes huge with the CC-75. That's 2 kills for him. So 2 cold bodies for Grizzlies. 3 warm ones still on site. Lennon, the only man left. These CC-75s really kind of taking over the meta as a form of not only just super aggressive pushes, but you'll see them pretty darn accurate at even mid or sometimes even long range. It's just the tap, I guess, spread of the weapon for the first few bullets really isn't much. So he doesn't have the bomb, but he's going to head towards A. I'm not entirely sure what he's going for here. Maybe a rotate through bank, trying to take over Sniper's Nest. But CTs have full control of the bomb. They don't know where he is. I mean, I doubt they're expecting this. Incredible does check his back, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Taking a look at the scoreboard right now. All the players on Grizzlies doing pretty darn good, either 4 or 2 kills apiece. Nano and Melio Fantastic work with those MP9s that we saw this round, as well as some fantastic FAMAS play from the rest of their team. CJB, Drake sitting at 3 each. Again, you're really going to want to pay attention to those riflers. When it comes to Cerus's firepower, they're kind of the two to watch. Ooh, Lennon managed to sneak up behind Incredible and Sniper's nest, but Hiko-esque reactions put him down. So now Cerus eSports finally being able to afford a full buy, but thanks to all that economic damage, I mean, we saw a lot of kills from Grizzlies. They didn't get past a round with more than 3 people alive, so in this 4th round, Cerus might be able to bust it back. They're actually better equipped than those on Grizzlies. That being said, they're a little bit sparse on utility. Only a smoke on Drake, and while we've seen some fantastic smoke play to bait rotations in the past, I'm curious to see if it's going to match up like that yet again. Early molly on Sandbags is going to push CTs back just a little bit, but look at their conservative positioning. Kizzy is going to get a nasty surprise, especially with that flash to the dome. Sets an early pick on the round. Incredible has given up his position. Thurnis might be able to spot him here. It's a little bit of an odd angle with that AWP. He does, and he gets the kill. So now Incredible has fallen. The man advantage is in favor of Cerus eSports. They could run the double up setup I was talking about earlier if they decide to, but as far as A, they realize that it's going to be a slow push, which favors the A site. So they are going to rotate back. Mikhail trying to find his footing on those stairs. Now Cerus eSports just retreat. They have plenty of time, still a minute left in the round, and they do have the man advantage. And that doubles down because they're on the T side. I mean, they can have 4 dudes anywhere, but even if the CTs guess correctly on what site they're going to go to, they'll probably only have 2. That man advantage can really kind of escalate into something more. Furthermore, Nano's positioning at the back of B site is not going to be able to hold if they push in for Monster Mouth, which is exactly what goes down. The flashes are going to come out, but that wall of smoke blocking him off. He might be able to spray through, can check Sandbags. Mikhail with the fast rotate, but he has the exact same problem. They just can't afford to waste all those bullets firing through the smoke and revealing their position. So Nano busts through a little bit. Mikhail follows suit. Nano down in water might be able to set up a little bit of a crossfire around the pillar if he gets there in time without being detected by Cerus. Again, that lack of utility might cost them here. Cerus, CJB, the only man with the smoke. Lennon, however, picks up 1. Low HP total will fall to Nano with that MP9. Drake is sitting right around the pillar, but Thurnis actually picks him off. And another for Thurnis, going huge in this 4th round. A 3-piece with fries and a biscuit for him, putting that AWP to work. Again, Thurnis and Lennon are the 2 guys that you kind of want to watch and see what they do with those scoped rifles. We've seen a little bit of scout play from Lennon in the past few games of this season, but Thurnis has consistently shown up. It's nice to see it too, because Thurnis is one of those oppers that isn't super content. He's not like a Skadoodle. He's more like a JW, where he's not content with just sitting and holding an angle. He wants to push. He wants to cause aggression. He wants to sow some confusion in the enemy team. And that's a great example of what he did. No one expects the ops to peek in, to duck walk out from Sandbags. So now the bomb in a fairly neutral position. Look at this spread from Grizzlies. They're really anticipating an A-side push. I'd call it a stack, but Mikhail's the only player on B. If they read this properly, or just wait for aggression. I mean, look at all 10 players basically standing still. Finally, a bit of movement out from Lennon. Not too afraid. They know that they're low on the economy. If he's able to get some damage on Melio with this nade here, yeah, down to 74 for him, so that could be big. Molly's going to come out, and as that smoke fades, Melio would get spotted out. A little bit of damage on Nano as well. But again, all this damage is kind of hidden behind smoke grenades. They think that they've hit someone, but they can't know for sure. A little bit of a goofed smoke there from Drake. Wall bangs through. I don't think he realized how close he was to putting damage on a Grizzlies player. Mikhail getting a little bit scared off from sight. Flashes will come out. Damage over on A site, though. Kizzy actually draws first blood that round. Thurnis popping in on the tightest angle, manages to get the wall bang headshot. He will fall. Do incredible, but JMZ manages to pull through. Nano with only 7 HP is going to head towards site, backed up by Mikhail. We saw a fantastic 2-man retake in the 2nd round of this game. We might see one again here. As the bomb goes down, wow, he snuck through the smoke towards truck, and he manages to take down one of Cerus's players, make it double, as his teammate picks up 1-2. Again, the 2-man retakes on A site. Just beastly from Grizzlies, will put Cerus out of commission for this round. And now it's a 4-1. As soon as it looked like Cerus eSports was finally getting their foot in the door, Grizzlies there to slam it shut. That's going to be it. So now Cerus eSports pretty much on the back foot here. Not a whole lot of action for him, or for them rather. in these first few rounds. I mean, they've had a really tough time grabbing onto rifles, and even when they do, they suddenly find themselves losing them. So the rifle buy will be Grizzlies. We see the AWP in the hands of Incredible. Interested to see what he can do with it. So far, he's been a fantastic player with the rifle for Grizzlies, as well as his great MP9 play we saw earlier. I'm curious to see how it works out with the scoped rifle. Cerus eSports will be able to scrap together a couple of rifles, a couple of CC75, sparse utility, but if there's anything we've learned from these first couple of rounds, it really doesn't matter who spent more money on the equipment, it seems like. CJB opening up the round with a headshot pick onto Melio. That could be devastating. Again, that little bit of a man advantage we talked about earlier. You can have 5 Ts at one site. You can't have all CTs. And it looks like they're setting up. The mollies and smokes are flying out, hoping to kind of divide the B site like we've seen in the past. They rush in. However, Nano and Mikael both pick up a frag each. Spots them around the corner. CJB going huge yet again. And as the bomb goes down, JMZ and Thurnis accompany him on B site. They're both coming in through Sniper's Nest. An interesting approach. The one is most likely going underground. JMZ waiting for him, though. Kizzy just around the corner. Takes down one remaining. Incredible with this AWP. It's the first time we've seen him with the rifle. He decides to just go for the save. So back and forth, back and forth. So far, Grizzlies is in the lead, and Cerus eSports has yet to get consecutive rounds in a row. But, I mean, really, it's the lead from the pistol round. Since then, it's been back and forth. We saw a couple of interesting buys from Cerus eSports, especially on that second round. Almost paid off, too. Flash round A long. Does JMZ know he's there? Well, it doesn't matter much anymore. Incredible will take him down, but still 2 rifles in the hands of Cerus eSports players. A lot less stress in their economy than you would expect. So now JMZ, most likely to gear up. Still plenty of cash, though, on their side. Will not be able to afford an AWP. So Thurnis is going to be slumming it with an AK-47. Interesting choice of a MAC-10 in the hands of JMZ, but it might pay off. A lot of the players on Grizzlies either don't have head armor or don't have armor at all. They do manage to keep that AWP, though. I'm curious to see what Cerus eSports game plan is going in. Wow, legs JMZ as he runs in with that MAC-10, but he is in Playground now. A little bit of a buffer between him and the AWP, so that's how he exploits the kind of odd sightlines from that position. Melio, very well aware that these kind of like weird bathroom to B takes have been kind of strange going on. But it is a tactic that Cerus eSports favors, and, for the most part, it works out for them. The retakes are kind of where it all falls apart, but they're kind of catching on to Cerus eSports' more unique approaches to the B site. Interesting call to head towards A, though. I'm curious because there's been so many times where they've basically won the round. The two-man retakes, we've seen it twice already, and it's only been 6 rounds into the game. Melio's positioning. If he aggresses just a little bit more, he could spot CJB from the back. Kizzy has joined him underground. It looks like Mikael might be going for the rotate as well. Just crawling towards A site. Incredible with the AWP here. A little bit slow on the reaction time, but it was just enough to take down JMZ. So now he maintains his position. Mikael rotating back towards A, but a lot of hesitation in the team. It feels like Grizzlies, they had kind of a read. Oh, Incredible gets another one. He will fall to Thurnis. Thurnis declaring, I am the best opera in the server, but plenty of other frags ring out on the A site. Lennon, the only man left. He does have site control, though I don't think he realizes it. And now both CT players, armed with less than par weapons, are going to have to try to retake A. The sight angle is just not enough. Kizzy spots him out quickly. There we see kind of an adaptation to Grizzlies' A site defenses and their retakes, because we saw them kind of focused towards bank, focused towards stairs and dumpster. I don't think he expected them to just be sitting in bathrooms like that. So, well played by Grizzlies, kind of mixing up the strats a little bit. So they will go up 5-2. Cerus eSports just unable to really get a foothold in this match. I say that about the T side, but really Grizzlies is in the same boat. We saw the 3 matches of them giving them a lead at the beginning, but since then, they also have yet to get consecutive matches in a row. JMZ rushing onto site with that deagle, catches Nano off guard, manages 1. Might be able to manage 2, but the rotate's already out. The bomb is going down, though. Drake manages to put it down. That's 650 for the entire team. A little bit of team damage there. Lennon playing so close. The smoke is going to cut off both of these CT players. That was such a smart smoke. So now Lennon might be able to play around it. Yeah, plays around the bloom, but it's not enough. Yeah, and here all the utility comes out. Drake funneling them through on that smoke. Manages to get a ton of damage, but it's not quite enough. Yeah, and Kizzy, watching Melio's back, takes down Drake again, so... I mean, they got the bomb down, and they defended it for a good amount of time. But Grizzlies shows that not only are they able to retake A, they can handle B very nicely as well. So 6-2 now for Grizzlies. The economic situation looking real dire for Cerus eSports. They haven't really been able to get a whole lot of consolation money at the end, for the pure fact that they really haven't had consecutive losses in a row. I mean, they've been able to pick up a couple, but ever since the first 3 rounds, I mean, that was their first consecutive loss. So only 1,900 in the bank. They are going to be able to scrap together a pretty decent buy. No AWP for Thurnis, which could be the deciding factor, though. They head towards B site, rushing in, but this push towards sandbags is not enough. Nano playing around the pillar, manages to get one. Drake will pick him off, though. But the rotate's already coming in. I mean, Grizzlies so quick at adapting to Cerus eSports fronts. He's now at 20 HP. Mikhail's basically trapped in the corner. They might not realize he's there, though. Oh, Drake manages to spot Kizzy from behind. Might be able to get a beat on him. Maybe Thurnis is going to beat him to the punch, though, and indeed he does with the long-range spray. 2 men in Sniper's Nest so far. Still a man on A site, though. Yeah, Mikhail wall-banging Drake. That could be huge. I mean, that's a ton of fragging power lost on the part of Cerus eSports. Melio makes it a 2-fer. Might get 3. Fantastic, fantastic retake. Yeah, Grizzlies, honestly, with these retakes, because they're losing sites most of the time, the bomb is getting down the majority of rounds. It's just a matter of that clockwork execution. I mean, once they see the site, once they get a decent read on where the CTs, or rather the Ts are going to be positioned, they can just waterfall in. It feels like they're able to just pick apart Cerus eSports site defense. So that not only bodes well for them for CT, but also as T side, that's going to mean a lot, because if they can kind of get a read on how they're going to hold sites as T once they've got the bomb planted, then that can mean that they really know what to expect when the sides switch. So CC75 lineup pretty much for Cerus eSports. They are heading towards B, the logical place to go with such short-range weaponry, but their B takes in the past have worked out less than stellar for them. Flashes are going to come in. One hits Nano, and the entire crowd runs through. The smoke blooms just in time, though, to cut off the Ts. Just a cacophony of frags around the site. Lennon, the only survivor for Cerus eSports at 20 HP. If he moves fast, he might be able to get the bomb down, and really that's all his team needs at this point. He heads towards sandbags, expecting the rotation that we've seen so many times. But instead, again, they're both playing this super cautiously as they head towards Sniper's Nest. Can't help but think that Grizzlies might be a little bit confused by this movement. They've expected the bomb to be down by now, but Lennon kind of playing around that. Gets his hands on an M4. That molly, though, not just zoning, that could be deadly if he dips his toes into it. Depending on Kizzy's positioning, he might be able to slip back into Monster. Yeah, the bomb goes down, but they heard those buttons as they're moving in. No wallbang comes out. Clever positioning, but it's not enough. Lennon hopping up on those boxes, hoping to give the CTs a little bit of a surprise, but to no avail. So now 8-2 is going to be the scoreline. So far, things are not looking good for Cerus eSports, but they're finally getting that consolation money, and they're getting the bomb down every single time. So far, 4 of the rounds they've lost, they've been able to get the bomb down. That's more than they've died just from getting fragged over and over again. Excuse me, make that 5 rounds now after the end of that. So, fantastic amount of money coming in just from the bomb plants alone. I mean, that's 650 every time, plus 300 to the planner. So now they are going to get their hands on a pretty close to full buy. A little bit of lacking utility on Thurnis, but he does have the AWP. We've seen how deadly he can be with it. He's really an action opper. He doesn't want to stand still and be a turret. He wants to be something a little bit more worthy of being feared. So now Nano and Milio kind of trying to take over the sandbags area. But look at how far up the CTs are playing here on A site. I mean, if they wanted to, they could just cruise right through bathrooms and completely surpass the defense. But, I mean, Cerus eSports a little bit on edge. They know how common it is for Grizzlies to somehow find a way to flank them. Drake, however, being a little bit brave. Thurnis is going to have to go sent back and get the bomb in his hands. Good flash in. This could be big from Drake if he spots not 1 but 2 CTs. He does, but too late in time. That's a lot of information, though. Incredible will pick him off. Great counterplay from JMZ, though. So now 3-3. They've got to rotate back towards A. The bomb, however, in hands, but still a very neutral position. Yeah, they're fully expecting the A take here. I mean, they're not rotating back. Granted, it's a lot faster to rotate from A to B should the need arise, but we've seen just that wall of smoke blocking them off. Cerus eSports, smoke grenade on CJB and Thurnis can remake that wall. Mikael, interesting position behind the barrels here. Might be able to catch CJB off guard if he pushes in without checking all the corners. JMZ, however, should be able to pick him off here. Mikael, that's 1, 2. Can it be 3? Playing so close with that AWP, and the pistols come out. And no 3 for Vimelio is likely to finish the job here. Indeed, he does. So 9-2. Didn't even get the bomb down that time for Cerus eSports. So overall, a very lackluster T side. Here on round 12, though, unlikely to be a pivotal one. They do get a good amount of money in it, but they're not quite at... I guess they are actually at max consolation prize now, so that's $3,400 per round. It's going to head to their pockets simply for losing. So after this round, you're going to see probably a force buy, if they lose, a force buy, and then another rifle buy. So they're able to keep the pressure coming on the Grizzlies. And despite all these victories, Grizzlies' economy is actually not looking too hot. Less than 3K on some of their players. Huge skirmish here underground, though. Melio picks off 2. JMZ and Drake with a pair of their own. Incredible manages to use that up well. Puts down JMZ. Crazy corner shot onto CJB, and he has eyes on the bomb. Drake, the last man alive, might be able to kind of exploit the narrow sightline. And indeed he can, but 1 versus 2 situation. We've seen Grizzlies win this. Can Cerus eSports pick up a victory of their own in this clutch situation? Yeah, the CTs don't have information regarding the bomb. Very clever movement coming out. However, he just walked right into the crossfire of Nano and Mikael, so... Yeah, I mean, Cerus eSports, it seems like they're making all the right decisions. It's just a matter of following through on those executions. I mean, we've seen how powerful Grizzlies can be on that B site. We've seen how great they are at retaking A. Super quick to rotate. Cerus eSports needs to really slow down the game. A lot of these rounds have been ending before the minute 30 mark. I want to see some 15-second heartbreakers of rounds here. Another big problem that they're running into is neither site really feels safe, and they're not really exploiting the anxiousness, I think, that Grizzlies feels. Even though now they have 5 times the amount of 1 rounds of Cerus eSports, they're still being very quick on those rotates, and Cerus eSports isn't kind of exploiting that jumpiness. They need to start baiting some rotations away from certain sites. If they're going A, we saw in the first few rounds, throw a smoke towards B, just cut off Monster Mouth from Sniper's Nest, or maybe cut off Sandbags. Do something to try to bait a rotate. And if they can bait a rotate, you know, I've talked so much about the man advantage the Ts have, how they can kind of maneuver around as a unit the way the CTs really can't. You can have 5 Ts rush onto a site where they can only be 2 CTs, maybe 3 if they're lucky. But it feels like Cerus eSports gets caught up in all these skirmishes, not usually more towards B site, more towards A. They'll get caught either by a man in long, they usually get flanked by a guy from underground, someone in bathrooms. Grizzlies really clever positioning, helping them quite a bit out in this first half. This is tactical pause. I'm sure they're going to try to figure out what to do. I mean, it's in such a situation that it's... Part of it feels hopeless. Another part of it feels attainable. I mean, we've seen Cerus come from behind at this ratio as well. We saw 5-1 against CLG Red, and they managed to bring that back not only in the second, but also in the first half. I mean, obviously, bringing back the first half is going to be rough, but a 10-5 is winnable. Cerus eSports, we've seen how powerful their CT side can be. They can be a very coordinated team. It's just a matter of executing those plans that they've no doubt laid well. For those just joining us, by the way, this is the 5th game in the ESEA Advanced Series. Both of these teams are 2-2 so far, both Grizzlies and Cerus eSports. My name is Brightside, and I've been guiding you through this match so far. And things are looking pretty grim for Cerus eSports. This is a best of 1 as well. The 5th game in the series is going to be a winner-take-all. Cerus eSports do not want to go into the 6th game with a losing record. Best possible scenario for them is 3-2, but you know, at first it was a hill to climb, now it's looking like a mountain. 10-2 is not the scoreline you want to see at the end of the first half, and things could get worse. I mean, a 13-2 half is pretty much unwinnable, especially on a map like Overpass that rewards that kind of momentum and those long-range engagements both on A and B site.
So I'm pretty sure
But
that
maybe if Cerus eSports can pick up these last 3, maybe they can ride that momentum into the second half. I mean, with a team like this, nothing's impossible.
pretty sure
There sure can be hella
Thurnus.
challenges.
Pretty sure Thurnus is having some kind of issue. He hasn't bought up yet. So I think we're waiting out whenever Thurnus is going to get back.
Match still paused. At first I thought this was a tactical timeout, but because of how long it's lasting, I'm starting to think it's more of a technical issue. Nothing really in chat that details that, though. It looks like the match, as soon as I say that, of course, commentator's curse gets unpaused, so 10 seconds left in this buyout. But both these teams are pretty much set. Again, very sparse utility from Cerus eSports. I think they need to use those false smokes to bait rotations out. The Grizzlies, I mean, looking fly. 5 defusers, 4 rifles, and the AWP. Can't ask for more. And even if you could, you couldn't carry it. So now the T side is going to head towards A. Again, we see this kind of aggression towards bathrooms. They might be able to spot the man in the side room. And indeed, they get the info, but they just decide to run past him. Instead, they decide to confront. CJB picks up one of his own. Lennon, however, with that CC-75, can't quite pick off Incredible. Great movement from him. Manages to get the kill from above and that AWP in his hands. Now it's just a matter of holding back the retake, something that we've seen a lot of trouble with. Drake picks up the 1. Can his teammate get the 2nd? And he's 6 HP on him. He can't afford to not exploit a crossfire situation. Might be able to pick up the rifle there, and indeed he does. The M4A4, as soon as the bomb goes down, through the smoke, Mikhail picks him off at only 6 HP. You can't ask for a lot of durability, but you can at least ask for information, and he's got none of it. Both of these guys headed towards bank. Mikhail indecisively runs back towards the dumpster. But this is planted for A long, and that's exactly where Lennon heads. Flash will take him out, but I don't think they realize it. That's the first, and he hides behind the boxes. Doesn't get the 2nd. God, a heartbreaker. Lennon with that first kill. Probably got a little bit of jumpy, thinking he was finally going to be able to break the streak, but Grizzlies extends their lead even further at 11-2. Looking at the scoreboard here, it's not even necessarily that Cerus eSports players aren't turning up. I mean, Lennon and Drake, 2 guys that we know are fantastic riflers, have been going hard. We've seen some fantastic AWP play from Thurnus. JMZ's bottom fragging, but really he's only got 1 less kill than CJB and Thurnus, 2 players who have no doubt been contributing to the game plan. Grizzlies is a little bit more lopsided. Top fragger at Melio at 15, kind of supported by his fantastic submachine gun play. Let's see if they can even up the kill score a little bit. So Drake is going to head back in through underground. JMZ, however, taking the lead in the Vanguard. I think the first time we've seen it this half, maybe just a change of pace. Bomb position back, so neutral. JMZ and Kizzy so close, but they don't know it. That smoke coming out is going to give Kizzy the room to retreat. So CT is also playing more aggressively on B. We're used to seeing them really hanging out back of sight, maybe pushing into sandbags, but here they're not afraid to just so much as peek monster mouth. That aggression could be their downfall. We see men moving towards sandbags. JMZ kind of covering the rear from any kind of underground push. Mikhail just playing around that pillar. Nano is going to spot a huge amount of T's coming out here, though. Oh, he looks away. This could be huge. Caught with the grenade out and his pants down. Mikhail busts him back, avenging his teammate, but he's the only man on B site right now. Melio is going to join him shortly, and indeed he does. Crazy spray from him takes down Lennon, make it a double with JMZ, also hitting the dirt. And Crazy just clips Thurnus' forehead from above the slope on B site. Crazy rifling from Melio. He deserves to be the top fragger. He's the best player in the server. 18-9 for him. Crazy spray transfer leading to just a clipped headshot on the slope of B site. And the last round for the first half, Cerus eSports is not looking very good. I mean, they can ask for a 12-3, but really, what do you get off of that? Yeah, nades are going to come out. A little bit of damage maybe on Nano if they're lucky, but instead, their own teammate falls a little bit low. Yeah, again, we see that double position towards bathrooms. Kizzy and Incredible doing a really good job of maintaining not only control of A long, but also of the favored Cerus eSports strat, which seems to be to just head towards bathrooms. Kind of hope for the best from there. Off shot on Incredible. Make it a double. Takes down Thurnis and JMZ. Drake falls 2 to Melio. Ooh, Melio crossing in front of a little bit of a strange sightline there. Flash is going to come out. Doesn't clip Lennon, aware of his position now. No one man can hold control of just one site. CJB is not really in a great position to help. Incredible will pick him off. That was just supposed to be just a shoulder peek, but he wound up overcommitting a little bit. They're looking towards A long. Melio watching his back. The sightline isn't quite enough, though, so hopefully you can get something done. Ain't no reason to save. It's round 15. So CJB might be able to get something out of this. A little bit of movement from Incredible could pop up from behind, especially if he uses that movement trick that we saw earlier coming out of JMZ. Exploits the sightline to take down Incredible, but it's not enough. Melio, the best player in the server. Fantastic rifling from him. Now the second half is going to be underway. Cerus eSports not looking very hot in this 5th game of the series. One of the things I talked about in the first half is I think that Grizzlys is doing a fantastic job of kind of reading the movement of Cerus eSports when they were defending the sites. I mean, we saw a ton of rounds that ended with a defuse, not just fragging out the other team last time. So it's possible that some of that knowledge, some of that kind of preemptive awareness is also going to matter quite a bit in terms of the T side, because if they can already figure out where they're going to be when they're retaking the site, and taking the site in the first place should be that much easier. Yeah, a little bit of demoralization I can imagine is going to come through. Cerus eSports has shown themselves to be a pretty mentally powerful team, but looking at this scoreline, it's tough to have hope. Got a DC out from Grizzlys. Incredible, the fantastic opera that we've seen really live up to his name in the first half. I think the combination of his opping, he's really been doing a great job at handling, in a similar way to Thurnis' own style, those short-range engagements. He's not a skadoodle, he's more of a JW. He's not afraid to run into the site. He's not afraid to hold op in that bathroom section. With the sight lines, I mean, sometimes an AK is a little bit much. But he, with that AWP, seemed as comfortable as he could be. Here on the T side, though, those kind of short range engagements are going to be a little bit harder to secure for himself. Again, CTs are really able to kind of control the length of the engagements here. We saw him almost consistently opting for the shorter range engagements. Honestly, if Cerus eSports can kind of keep him in the back, keep him at bay, kind of mess with his confidence a little bit, it could pay dividends. So now let's see how Grizzlys plays the T side. We already see a pretty aggressive stance out from Drake as he heads towards playground almost. I mean, they're really going aggressive on this. A little bit of a stack on B, maybe able to intercept all those players coming out. A lot of nade damage there. They don't spot the man behind barrels, and the smoke comes out, and Kizzy gets first blood in the round. Drake with a crazy shot manages to put out Incredible, but just a flood of clock shots takes down CJB and JMZ. So now Cerus eSports putting all their hope into one man. Ooh, just a pop from Nano with the headshot is going to put him down. So 2-14 now, and that one pistol round should mean a one game. Usually you see the pistol round one, and 2 more are going to follow suit. So if that is the case, it's going to be 2-16 loss for Cerus eSports. Disheartening, but, not impossible to at least even it up a little bit more. Interesting buyout from Grizzlys. Mostly Mac 10s. Won't be super effective. We've seen a lot of preferences in the modern meta towards picking up armor in addition to a gun during force buy. That's exactly what Cerus eSports goes with, the more contemporary strategy. So yeah, only 2 Galils on Grizzlys. They may regret that decision. I think Mac 10s only do something like 11 or 12 if hit in the chest against armor. It's just a pitiful amount. Very low armor pen on that weapon, so we'll have to see if maybe they made a little bit of a klutz mistake. Cerus eSports, though, again with those CZ75s, potent at middle and long-range engagements. Not to the degree that they are at those short-range engagements, though, and some of the CTs are stacked up. Sandbags, in bathrooms, underground, all real close-range combat situations. And it looks like Grizzlys is being even more patient than Cerus eSports was on their A-takes. Bomb is still neutral, though. It could go anywhere. An Incredible and Nano clearing out long. You know, if they manage to get onto A site and make the call to push in, they might forget about Thurnis and Drake, who both pick up frags apiece. Lennon follows him underground. Mikael, though, with the information, should be able to hold the angle. Oh my god, they're so close, but Mikael pops out at the worst possible time for Cerus eSports. 2 fall in return, evening up the scoreline. Drake with that Galil puts down 1. Probably won't get a second as Nano puts him out of commission. So now Mikael and Nano trying to keep the 16-2 dream alive. Whips out the Galil just in time to put down JMZ. And now the 1v2. We've seen some fantastic retakes here on this site in the first half. Let's see if Cerus can replicate the magic. CJB, we saw some fantastic clutches from him against CLG Reddit on Inferno. Let's see if he can make the same thing happen on a map like this. Smoke's kind of dividing in half the site. Approaching from truck is not an option. If he goes for that bomb, even with the fake, it might not be enough. Pops Mikael at only 15 HP each, but now both of these guys are looking very low, but Grizzlys pulls it out. Nano winning the 1v1 clutch. That bomb will go off, and the scoreline will go to 2-15. Cerus eSports on the brink of defeat, but an animal's most dangerous when quartered. That goes for a bull as well as every other animal, I guess. So now Grizzlies at 15-2. Cerus eSports looking for an opportunity to even up the scoreline. Now look at this aggressiveness from the CT side here. Lennon getting real close and comfortable with the Grizzlies squad. Manages to get a little bit of damage onto Incredible, but at 19 left, he's got enough to still be upright. Grizzlies just heading towards A side, playing it slow and steady. The CTs are real spread out here, though. Drake underground, trying to watch for a rotate, but if they do decide to go towards A, it's going to be real difficult to support his teammates on site. Incredible with the utility comes out. As soon as that smoke blooms, they're going to head in. JMZ playing super close, takes down 1, but 2 take its place. Now the T's have full control of the site, though they might not realize it. The bomb will go down. Again, we've seen some fantastic retakes on this site. Cerus eSports want to kind of claw their way to a little bit more respectable of a scoreline. This is the situation they have to do it. Thurnis picking off 1, so now it's only 3 left for them to get through. That's a tall order already. CJB on site with that deke. Spots Nano, but it's not enough. The Galil shots ring out, and they ring out again true. Thurnis falls 16-2 in favor of Grizzlies. A rough game from Cerus eSports, and they will walk away with the 2-3 scoreline in this ESEA Advanced League. Rough stuff, but, I mean, I gotta say, Grizzlies earned it. As far as when it came to site control, retakes on both A and B site, it seems like they were just executing it like clockwork. Meanwhile, Cerus, that aggressiveness and the kind of lack of baiting rotates, kind of misuse of utility cost them the game. So well played from all around. Fantastic rifling from players on both sides. Great AWP usage. But even if you do everything right, it doesn't guarantee you're going to win. So 16-2. Congrats to Grizzlies, who will be 3-2 at the beginning of the next game. Once again, my name is Brideside, and this match has been presented by Cerus eSports. Hope to see you guys next time.